I love that about George, that he, even after all these years and all these bands and collaborations, like even with the Cassandra's Crossing stuff, he is still coming up with new, fresh material, and like he's still evolving as a musician, as a guitar player, as a songwriter, and it's so inspiring.
Casandra, thank you so much for your time today. How are you doing? Last time I interviewed you, I think you only woke up 30 minutes before the interview or something like that. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I've been awake longer than 30 minutes at this point.
There you go. Fantastic.
I'm feeling energized and ready to go.
You have the body electric, as it were.
Yes,
fantastic.
There you
fantastic. Go. Now, we're not here to talk about Paralander today. We're here to talk about Cassandra's Crossing now, which is a unique project. And let's just jump straight into that. Like, this is a project like Frontiers Records likes to do them, where they, pair up people that they think would be a great mix. And basically, you are joined with George Lynch of Lynch Mob and so many other things, obviously, in Dokken. That is a very different approach than releasing music for your own band that you've been writing songs for since you were, 5 years old or something like that. So how different is it for you going through this cycle, through these motions, when it is a much more clear and different defined project like that?
Yeah, it was different for a lot of reasons. I mean, the main thing being like the fact that George and I were not in the same room when we were writing these songs. Luckily, I have had some experience doing that, though, collaborating in that way with the Live project with Josh Rand. So it was a little familiar, receiving guitar tracks, writing lyrics and melodies. So I was used to that. But like, I've never been on like a major label or anything like that. So working with a record label like Frontiers that's so established, in the way that they are, was a brand new experience for me. And like, I don't know, just the behind the scenes process was much different. It was really nice having other people like in charge of things. Normally it's all on my shoulders. Like to figure out who's going to be the artist, who's going to do the artwork, like, all these things that people probably don't really, think about that goes into it, but that matter a lot and should require some time and effort. So yeah, it was great. It was a good experience.
Now, some of these collaborations go on to live a life of its own, of their own. I don't know what the right way is. And we see continued releases of that, but many of them also are doomed to a very short life. George has been on quite a few of them. He's done a few with obviously Michael Sweet. There we have like 3 or 4 albums already. What's your expectation going into an adventure like this? Like is this something that is the flame burning and we should see more of this? Or is this like, hey, this was fun to do and thank you and next time?
Yeah, I mean, my expectation since the beginning was that this was just going to be one album. Because originally it was supposed to be the second Dirty Shirley record. And I was just going to be the singer on this one. And as we started writing songs, we kind of everyone unanimously decided that we should give this project its own name. So, I mean, if we do more records, great. I will not be mad about that. But I'm not expecting to either. I know that George is kind of trying to retire. Poor guy. I mean, he does it to himself, so you can't feel too bad. But so I don't want to expect anything out of George or anybody else. But if I were able to write another record with him, I would love to do so. It was so much fun doing this one. I'm really proud of how it came out.
Yeah. Now, a lot of the songs, I mean, there are songs that on this record that could fit into a Paralander album really nicely as well. We get this, positive electric, or electrified, I should say, hard rock that we know from your band as well. But tapping into a guy like George, and I say this obviously with all the respect of the artist or the individual band members that you work with on a daily basis. I mean, George is a unique guy, and he can bring some stuff to the table that not everybody can do. Like, do you already kind of see that this collaboration is influencing new stuff that you're writing for your band or other projects?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love that about George, that he, even after all these years and all these bands and collaborations, like even with the Cassandra's Crossing stuff, he is still coming up with new, fresh material, and like he's still evolving as a musician, as a guitar player, as a songwriter. And it's so inspiring. It's like, man, I could I can take these ideas and put them into my other music and realize, like I'm not really pigeonholed. There's still like so many ideas out there. I can still be creative and come up with things that I really love, like years later. So it's really inspiring and exciting.
I've never traveled to the northern lights. I wanted to see them with.
You need to carry already for Paralandra a lot of the focus on your own shoulders. And now we've got Cassandra's Crossing. It feels like the stage is set for your proper solo adventure.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I've never really thought about that, and it's never been a dream of mine to like have a band that was named after me. Like that really took me by surprise when George actually is the one that suggested Cassandra's Crossing as the name. So I was like, what? But now, I mean, I've kind of got like a large collection of work, like from Paralandra, the Life Project, Cassandra's Crossing now, and then like doing singles with people here and there over the years. Like I do kind of have quite a lot of music. I don't know that I guess I could play like a Casandra show, like of my music over the years, but like, I don't know. That's never been the goal. I've always just wanted to be in a band. So
okay,
yeah.
All right, okay. Well, and your band is also like, unless I'm mistaken, I think in November you are sharing the bill with Lynch Mob as well.
Yes.
So should we keep our fingers crossed to see some on-stage live collaborations going on?
I definitely am. Yeah. I have gotten to join Lynch Mob on Mr. Scary a couple times in the last couple months, which was sick. And then, of course, I've done like Street Fighting Man a couple times. So I really enjoy performing with George. And we're gearing up to do a bunch more tour dates together, like January through March of next year. Like we're basically joining them for the rest of their final ride tour. So I don't see why not. Like, George, come on, you wrote the songs. Like, what's playing it one more time live in front of an audience?
There you go. Well, yeah, because it's one thing for you to join to hear, either a Dokken or a Lynch Mob classic, but can we keep our fingers crossed that we get to see some Cassandra's Crossing music played live, or is
I hope
this
so.
Okay, good.
I hope so. Like, I don't expect us to have a Cassandra's Crossing band that tours.
Right, yeah.
But like, yeah, since Lynch Mob and Paralandra are going to be touring together, like I would really love to be able to just get up and maybe play a song or two from Cassandra's Crossing at one of these shows, or all of them. I mean, I would love to do it every night.
Like a lot of songs, on the surface might just quote unquote just seem to deal with personal relationships, but it feels like if you do again take that time to dig a little deeper, there's a lot more going on. Your inspiration again, we know that C.S. Lewis was a big inspiration for you, with Paralandra, because we talked about that in the last interview. But more literary works have inspired this album as well.
Well, let me think. Literary works inspiring a Cassandra's Crossing song. Well, I guess like War of the Worlds. There you go. Yeah.
Exactly.
That inspired Stranger. So yes. I mean, yeah, like lyrically, it's so eclectic of an album because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go into it with any expectations of like, this is going to be a record I write about this relationship or these experiences or feelings. Like, I was just taking it a song at a time, and whatever that song inspired is like the rabbit hole I went down. So sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's like, you know, something random like War of the Worlds, or I mean, sometimes it was like addiction or just wanting to leave your job. You know, just kind of like all over the place.
Yeah. So
But I
what
feel
makes this? Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I feel like it kind of gives something for everybody to listen to.
Yeah.
Being that it is all over the place.
Yeah. With it being, to quote you, all over the place. Like, what makes this album an album? Like when you go in, when you're writing this, like you say, like, oh, I didn't have too many expectations or like a necessarily a battle plan going into it. But as you're writing these songs or working on these songs, like, was there some level of like blueprint, if you will, that you wanted to stick to make sure that this was like that this album has its own identity, if you will? Because it is a varied album, but it's not. But there's no necessarily like jazz or country music all of a sudden on this album, right? Like it's still one cohesive thing.
Yeah, I guess if anything, you know, it was originally going to be Dirty Shirley Part 2. So at the very beginning, yes, I was listening to that first Dirty Shirley record. I knew that we were going to be going in a like bluesy rock kind of direction, like sort of that same feel. So I really wanted to lean into that blues, into just kind of like feeling the music. I wanted to stay away from like trying to write for radio or write for something in particular. I just wanted to be able to like kind of vibe with all the songs. And yeah, I don't know. I guess that was maybe my personal expectation, was to fit that mold in a way.
Today I planted magic seeds.
Not quite sure if this project is that much different from Paralandra for you to write, because I think you were also talking about, you know, just kind of have to feel, it has to feel good when I'm writing for that. Like, are you somebody that for different projects that you can sit down and say, I'm writing a song for this particular band or project now, and you can turn that on and off? Or do these songs come to you and it's more at that stage that you go like, well, this doesn't really fit for Paralandra, but it could be for, in this case, Cassandra's Crossing?
Yeah, I feel like Paralandra and Cassandra's Crossing could definitely be like interchangeable with songs. Because like, you know, with the Cassandra's Crossing, you get so many guitar solos and like George's throwing in the harmony parts. And that's very much like what we love to do with Paralandra, and to have these like catchy hooks and melodies scattered in between all of it. With the Life project, like, I feel like that's more on the metal side of things, and it's got a way different set of influences, a lot based on like Metallica and Megadeth, the big four, you know, Anthrax and Slayer and stuff like that. So I do feel like with the Life project, I have more of a mentality to write kind of in that vein. But also, like, I am Casandra Carson, and I'm going to write the way that I write regardless. Like, even if I try to write a certain way, I feel like no matter what I'm trying to do, like, I'm still going to come through, you know? So what I always try to do is to create memorable melodies, and like, I like humming ditties, you know, things that get stuck in your head. And that's what I try to bring to all of my projects and all of the songs that I work on, is just something that's going to like stick with you. Whether it be a melody or like a really great lyric or something like that, you know, that's what I try to bring to the music, is something that you can feel, something memorable that like latches on.
I'm having those recurring dreams. It's like I should be.
A quick side question, because if I remember correctly, I mean, not remember correctly, like the album's coming around Halloween, and you are somebody that's very vocal about, you know, how much, you know, the 80s has been a big inspiration for you and like a music perspective. A lot of that crazy 80s arena rock and metal was also used in a lot of Halloween soundtracks. Does that mean that Halloween that is coming, is that like a big moment in the year for you as well, or do you stay away completely from that?
I love Halloween season. Spooky season is fun for me. I'm gonna go do some haunted houses this weekend, actually, so I can celebrate proper.
Awesome.
I don't go as crazy as other people. Like, I'm not out here decorating my house because I'm not even here to enjoy it. So, like, you know, maybe not the biggest Halloween fan, but, you know,
No.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a must. So, counts
Okay,
for
so
something.
that's a good question though. Is that a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
Both.
Ah, there we go.
It's acceptable all times of the year.
Yeah. We've seen some good people like make rock covers of "This Is Halloween," but and is there a classic like soundtrack song that has never really received the proper hard rock treatment that you would love to do one time?
Oh, yes. And I'm not going to say because I'm already working on it.
Oh, all right. Good,
For
good,
next
good.
year, come 2025, I'll have something spooky for everybody.
I know that you're extremely busy. You're going to be playing a lot. We're going to keep our eyes open for any content that can be shared when hopefully a Cassandra's Crossing song can be played on stage. Because obviously if that happens, please make sure that gets recorded some way, shape, or form.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's great to see, labels like Frontiers, not just acknowledging, but, picking up, new blood and new talent as they sometimes can do, and pairing you up with George in this case, because I feel like this is just the start. We're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff for you, and that's super exciting. So yeah, I think you should start planning those Cassandra's shows.
Thank you.
There's going to be a lot of content.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope you get to enjoy the rest of this release cycle, and whether you decorate your house or not, have a spooky Halloween, and hope to see you on the stage real soon.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.